Okay, I have finished the top stitching. I didn't do it on camera, but it was the same thing. I just top stitched all the way around the entire vest. So the only thing left now is to put in the eyelets and to turn down our edges like this and then tack them down. Okay, so I've got another Our Generation doll here. I've tried it on her and it fits pretty good. I think it'll be just okay once we get the eyelets in and tie it up. It almost fits her perfectly. So I could have even added even more, I guess. I guess it depends on how perfect you want that fit to be. Because here it is in the back, and can you see that? I don't know, let me see if I can get closer. Here's the fit in the back. I still probably could have even added more. I don't know. I guess I was just, well, once it lays down flat, and I think that was okay. I'm happy with this fit. And the sides are right where they should be. These girls, they're just so fluffy in the center. They're just so big. I'm so used to working with the Jenny girls that are much narrower. Okay, so looks pretty good. Okay, I'm pretty happy with it. So let me go ahead and take it off, and we will put eyelets in. Okay, let me put her to the side. Okay, so now we're going to decide what size eyelet we want and how many we want, where we want to place them. I'm just going to do the same thing I did on this one over here. I'm just going to do the, oops, something just fell. Oh gosh. My router. Okay, I'm just going to do the same thing I did on this one. I'm going to do 5. Okay, I can use this as an example, but if you don't have one already made, you won't have anything to use as an example. So I'm going to show you how I got these placements on here. I'm just going to take my ruler and I'm going to start where I want my first one. So I'm going to take a piece of chalk. So let me get out a piece of chalk here. I have one over here. I've got the blue one over here. Okay, so I'm going to start my first one from the bottom. I want probably 1/4 of an inch left over, or 3/4, probably 3/8 of an inch from the bottom before I start my first one. And I want it to go in a little bit. Now this is it's just, you know, whatever you prefer to do. You don't have to do what I do. It's just the way I do it. Okay, so see how I put that blue mark? I'm going to make that my first eyelet. Okay, so then I'm going to decide where do I want the next one. So I'm going to go up, I can go up a 1/2 inch, or I can make them even wider apart. It depends on, it's all personal preference, to tell you the truth. Okay, so I'm going to line up I'm going to put them 1/2 inch apart from each other. So there's that one. So I'm going to go ahead and put my next one right here. Okay, so then I'm going to do the same thing, 1/2 inch, put my next one right here. It's all personal preference. You don't have to do it this way. It's just, this is what I'm doing. This is the way I'm doing it. So 1/2 inch, and then the last one on the top. Okay, so what do we've got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got them marked with my blue eyelet. And then I'll have my little turn under. So do I like the way that looks? Yeah, it looks pretty nice. I kind of like it. Okay, so I'm going to take my crocodile. This, you can buy this at any of the craft shows. I mean, at any of the craft stores. Okay, to make your cuts on here, I'm going to use the silver. I like silver on this fabric, so I'm just going to use the silver 3/8 of an inch. You'll be using different squares if you use a different size eyelet. But because I'm using the 5/16 or 3/16 eyelets, I think they're more 5/16 than anything, or 5/32 is what they are. So they are like 3/16. So I'm using this size. I'm not using the smaller 5. I'm not using the small 1/8. But you can use whatever you want. But because I'm using this size, check your list and it'll tell you exactly what color cubes to use for your crocodile. I'm going to use silver and silver to make my cuts. And when you make your cuts, you're going to line that cutter right up with the top of that piece of chalk or pencil mark or whatever you've got. And you're just going to go straight through. The one thing you want to hear when you do this, you want to hear like a little click. So that little click will make sure that you go completely through that fabric. Okay, you didn't hear it on that one. Let's see if we can get it on another one. Okay, so we're going to go, let's see if you can see that. There's my blue chalk mark. I'm going to line my silver circle right up to that piece. And I'm going to press. See how it made that clicking noise? Okay, so you should be able to get a clean cut every time. For some reason, this didn't give me a clean one. Okay, there we go. All right, let's try it again. Silver to the blue chalk mark. Press. Made noise. And maybe because I'm doing it at an angle. Okay, let me just do it like I would do it without being on camera and see what happens. Came right out. Okay, so just go straight down with your, and then there you go. Okay, so we've got our 5 holes. All right, so take your 5 eyelets, whatever 5 you're going to want to use. I'm using silver. And you want to put those in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. Okay, notice we only marked one side with the chalk. I've got a piece of, okay, so then this is where we're at. Alright, so I use jump rings. I keep saying split rings, but they're not. They're jump rings. So jump rings come in all different sizes, so you'll want to try and find the ones that fit the 3/16 of an inch. I got 2 different sizes in here, so I'll just have to work through them till I get enough of the right size. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a jump ring on each one of these eyelets, and we're just going to push that jump ring down to the bottom. Okay, I'm in camera. I dropped an eyelet. Another one, yep. Okay, jump ring. Okay, now we've got that, we've also got that interfacing in there too, to make it a little sturdy, because this is exactly where we, ironed on that. I just used sheer. If your fabric's really, really fine, you may want to consider even going to a mid-weight or even a heavy duty, depending on how thin your fabric is. Okay, so eyelets are in, jump rings are on. I'm going to switch from silver to black, because it's going to be black with the silver top. These have numbers on them. This one's a number 2 on the bottom, and the top is A. Okay, so to set, we're going to go A with silver black. Okay, that's the set. Okay, so we're going to go straight down on here. Same thing, the silver goes on top, and you want to put that silver right into that eyelet and squeeze. Eyelet in on top of the black, squeeze. eyelet in, silver in, squeeze, silver in, squeeze, silver in, squeeze. And you've got 5 perfectly set eyelets. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. How are we going to do the other side so it's exactly even? We're going to take this and we're going to line it up just like this. Okay? And you can even pin it if you want to. So there's no shifting whatsoever. And then you're going to take your chalk. Okay, so we got that. We've got those lined up. Let's just make sure there's no anything. Okay, so now we're going to take our blue chalk and we're going to go right into those little holes with our blue chalk. Okay. So now we've got 5 perfect circles. Okay, change our bottom back from black back to silver again. And we're going to, I'm just going to make this quick work. Just going to take it and cover completely that blue chalk. 1, 2, I'm trying to speed this up, 3, 4, and 5. Didn't seem like it went through. Maybe it did. Yep, it did. Okay. So take your 5 eyelets, jump rings, see my time. I still have time. Silver jump ring. Silver. Jump ring. Okay, let me see if I have 2 more. Yeah, I do. These cases I got at Harbor Freight Tools. They're $3.99 and I've got everything in them. I've got my eyelets in one. I've got my jewelry in about 4 of them. I've got my beads in a couple of them. They're so handy because you have everything right at your beck and call and you don't have to search high and low for them. And you can make the compartments different sizes because all these little plastic things come out. I guess you can buy them at any hardware store. Okay, so now we got the silver in again, so we're going to switch from silver back to black. Okay, so A and 2, A and 2. Oops, what do I do? You know, these little cubes are replaceable too, so if yours ruin or get worn out, you can always replace them without having to buy the whole kit and caboodle again. I didn't know that. It's kind of nice to know. Okay, so all I'm doing is putting in the silver in each hole. And I just ruined one. Well, there's a good learning tool. How in the heck did that happen? Well, I looked at that and I went, oh, sometimes you just get a bad one. Okay, so now I'm going to have to find my tool kit and cut it out. Okay. I'm going to take my handy duty wire cutters and I'm going to carefully cut this out without damaging the fabric, which is easier said than done. Boy, that thing just smithereened. You know, that's a problem with these eyelets. Sometimes they're just, oh, it didn't even set properly, so it should be easy to come out. Sometimes they're just poor quality, and you don't even know it. There might be a flaw in there, and you won't know till you actually set it. But, okay, no damage done. All right, let's try it again. Well, that would have been unfortunate if the whole thing was ruined after all that work, huh? Okay, let's see if we can find a good one here. Sometimes you're not as fortunate and you're not able to save these things. It just happens. Not often, thank goodness, but it does happen every once in a while. Okay, so let's try it again. I'll be real careful this time. And go straight down. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It was a little off, but there we go. So now, I don't have time to do it, but I'm just going to take a pin and I'm going to sew. I'm going to take a pin and sew a piece of, well, I don't have one here, darn it. I wish I did, I don't. I'm just going to take a needle and thread and I'm going to sew on this side, and then I'm going to take a little catch here and I'm going to tie a knot and tie it off. And that's the only thing I'm going to use to keep those two together. Just like that. You can try it on your doll before you sew it down. You're only making one little knot in there to hold those two down, and that's it. That's how easy these are. And then you can just lace it up with whatever you want. But there is the outfit with the eyelets down the front. Kind of cute. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.